If we do not normalise the discourse, nothing is going to change, and the only people that can normalise and change that is us. Because they're not going to have the conversation. They're so comfortable. The more I shut up, the happier they're going to be.
Absolutely.
But it's not happening.
But we need to be checking in all the time with our young men, and we need to be able to nurture them.
For me, it was more, do you talk about your baby? Not, I wasn't allowed to, but I felt like I wasn't allowed to.
So that was like the next level along, wasn't it?
Exactly.
If you want to be a mother, forget being a general manager.
I got asked that in an interview.
Quite often, the reason that there is a glass ceiling is because we put it there.
Yeah. In that very moment, emulate who it is that you think you have the potential to be. Because only then will the person that you actually are come out.
So I have the pleasure of welcoming you all to another episode of Sweet Talk Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us for this really special, exclusive episode for International Women's Day.
I think a good place to start is maybe introducing each of our amazing female leaders we have with us here today. Firstly, Samantha, thank you so much for hosting us in the library here at Montcalm Mayfair. Really beautiful space. We also have with us the incredible Anne Golden. We have Joanne Taylor-Stagg and the amazing Eliesa Sakiri. Amazing to have you all here with us today. Brilliant place to start. So what made each of you say yes to hospitality? What drew you in?
I needed somewhere to sleep, and back when I joined hospitality, there used to be, my marketing director hates it when I say this, but it really is that simple. I needed accommodation, and back in the day, hotels used to offer accommodation. So I started working at the Strand Palace, and there was a staff accommodation just across the street. It was absolutely fantastic. It was so much fun.
And one thing led to another. What about you, Sam?
Well, my father was in the industry, so I was not forced into it, but I think that service was something I was very passionate about, and I grew up with it. So when he joined Intercontinental and I saw the wonderful glass elevators that you could see the entire of Cape Town from, I thought, that's where I belong.
Yeah, that's
riding the
cool,
elevators. And the receptionist uniforms were amazing. They looked very elegant, and I thought I could do that.
Yeah, gorgeous. And you, Joanne?
For me, it was the excitement and the passion and the constant change, because I was studying a law degree, which was quite staid. And then you went to the restaurant and it was buzzing and lively, and I was like, oh no, this is where I'm supposed to be.
We have two lawyers amongst us then, so I know you was studying to be a lawyer as well, so this is perfect.
Your life, isn't it?
Mind blown.
I did not know that.
I did family and child law. Specialised in family and child law. My aim was to change the world. And then I realised it's really depressing trying to change the world. So I thought, okay, I'll have them.
The next best thing.
Yeah. I got into it out of sheer desperation of like, I've just left this degree that's supposed to be everything, and my whole future's supposed to be set out for me. I need money, and I need money fast. So I became a glass wash in an arcade. Time of my life. The arcade is no longer there, but I promise you it wasn't my fault. I promise you guys. That wasn't me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So obviously all of our guests' kind of careers started at different times. I'm intrigued to know how personally to each of you the role of women throughout your career has changed along the way.
I think when I started off in the industry, I was very fortunate that I had a lot of leaders and managers who supported, all the team members, including the females on the team. Or people thought we were more suited for roles like reservations manager, front office manager. They were like roles that had more office job connotations to it than the bigger roles, sales or food and beverage director, etc. So I think now it's definitely changed, and the role of the female is more strategic, perhaps. You see more females in leadership roles, shaping the culture of the company, where in the beginning it was definitely a more male-dominated industry.
Yeah. And is that something that kind of came into your mind or played on your mind when you were entering the hospitality sector?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Everyone said to me, what do you plan to do in hotels? You're never going to become a general manager one day. Because, it was always from the food and beverage side, and it was majority of the leaders were males who went from food and beverage into the general manager role. And at that time, I don't think many females from front office or rooms division moved into leadership roles. That changed over the years.
Yeah.
So I wasn't put off by it though. I was determined.
Yeah, I love that. Good for you. Yeah, what about...
I agree. When I got into hotels, I knew I wanted to be a GM. I was absolutely single-minded. That was it. And I knew 2 5-star GMs in the whole of London.
Wow.
Other female
that
GMs,
was it.
yeah.
There were 2. And now you look, it's not that many years, she likes to say.
Just 5 years ago.
Yeah, just 5 years ago. And now you look, and that really inspires me, that because you can't see it, or you can't be it if you can't see it. Yeah. And I hope that there's a whole lot more young women out there going,
Yeah.
I want a bit of that, thank you.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think we had a similar conversation. You said, it was seeing female leaders. Yeah.
There was someone like you to look up to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the first, very, very frankly, I am of that slightly younger generation, which is weird to say because I'm ready to retire. But I think for me, very honestly, Anne was the first female GM that was like prominent for me. I knew there were women as GMs in the background, but it was very, very quiet, somehow very, very hush-hush. And then I saw Anne, I remember seeing her on LinkedIn and being like, oh shit, fair, this makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, for me, it connected something because I never knew, I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah.
Retired, ideally. But it was that thing of, hold on a second, I'm not mad.
Yeah.
All of this fighting that I'm continually doing, all of this pushing, all of this perseverance, it does make sense. There is a logic behind what I'm doing, even though at the time for me it was very emotionally driven.
Yeah.
You both know me very well. I'm very sorry. If you tell me I cannot do something, I'm going to kill it. Like, I am going to do
I'm going to do it, yeah.
better than anyone's ever seen it
Yeah.
done. But then I remember seeing Anne and just being like, crap, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I love that.
Yeah.
And I think it was a huge part of me kind of being like, okay, cool, I can breathe a little bit
Yeah.
because it's coming.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be part
Yeah.
of that. Yeah. And I'm going to be in everybody's face.
Yeah.
Whether you want to see me
Yeah.
or not, I'm going to be there. Because
Yeah,
I wish I saw more.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
Yeah. When you said it was hush hush, why do you think that was?
Well, probably because a lot of, please correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of the generation maybe prior to mine that got into those roles emulated and had to give off the characteristics of their male counterparts so much just to be accepted and seen within those roles. They had to give up so much. Whereas, and I've said this a million times, and me and Dec have had this discourse. 10 years ago, you never would have seen a GM like me. No chance. Whereas today, I am this person in entirety.
Yeah.
And I don't have to hide a single part of me.
Good for you.
And how amazing is that, though, that Elle said that you were one of the people that she looked up to, and now we're here on this.
I think she knows. I think I
podcast.
messaged her.
Yes.
She's just so incredibly generous. She's already sort of you reached out on LinkedIn. I had tried to get into GM roles and it just wasn't happening. So I had to leave companies to go to Thistle, and I was going from a very internationally renowned company to a domestic company. But hats off to them. They believed in giving women a chance. One of the things that I'm so glad that Ellie picked up on was that I also said to myself, absolutely no way am I going to act like a man.
Yeah.
Because a lot of women had to, and I'm not knocking them, please don't think I am. That's what you had to do to be taken seriously, to be given a role as a GM, was you had to, and you'd hear people saying, oh yeah, she's really tough. And I'd be like, I don't want to be really tough. I want to just do it through like nurturing.
Yeah.
The things that I understand.
Being authentic is like a
You know,
massive
I just
part.
want to just want to treat everybody sort of with kindness and love. I don't want to be walking around like pretending I'm really tough.
Yeah.
So I did sort of think that might hold me back, and it did. But still, you know, get there in the end.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's still, unfortunately, I'd love to say, oh, that was in the past. I think more of us have broken through the glass ceiling. It's great to see. But I still think that oftentimes you hear people think that they have to emulate male behaviour.
But I think you also land up in a room where I think my entire career, I can count on one hand the number of times you've sat around a boardroom table and there are more than one woman. Normally it was always
true.
me and all the guys. And so even when you're trying to be yourself and be authentic, you are in an environment where your masculine side has to almost come to the fore. You're not looking for it, but you're completely surrounded, and you have to keep pushing to
The common thing is you're all mentioning like that perseverance that you have to go through. Do you think like we're losing women from the industry that are super talented because they're not, you know, not necessarily not persistent, but
Or maybe that is the
thing.
yeah, maybe it is that.
No, I definitely think so, and certainly females with families.
Yeah.
Because, you know, quality of work, quantity of hours versus quality of work has always been a challenge. So how are you able to, you know, raise a family and be a successful general manager in the industry if your male counterparts want a meeting at 7 p.m. or, you know, so, and if you say no, it did come across as a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
So you would need to balance your life very well. And I think I lived in countries where I was able to do it, because in the Netherlands, childcare is much more easier than the UK. But if I would have started my career in the UK and gone through this whole, you know, journey, it would have been much more tougher, I think, for me to be able to balance having a full-time job and being successful at work and being successful in your own private life as well.
Do you think kind of this new, I think it's getting a lot more attention now, and it should, is people are starting to turn that dial more towards kind of their own health and well-being and having the opportunity to, you know, say when they are and aren't working? Do you think that's going to help kind of deliver more?
Absolutely, and I think
Yeah.
COVID
That
did
lifestyle
help
balance.
a lot. COVID changed the mindsets, and it's about being able to say no, because you know,
Yeah.
protecting your private time does not mean that you're not good at what you do.
Yeah.
But it gives you that time to think, which is also very important.
Yeah, because you shouldn't be persecuted for, you know, raising and nurturing a family. Like it's totally.
But I think we also need that support network at home, don't we?
Yeah.
And I think, looking back, it was very much women's work, and the guys went off and went to work. Yeah, and I think, they say it takes a village to raise a child. It absolutely takes two parents.
Yeah.
And I think that has also changed, which I think then helps, whichever partner to be able to go out and, and achieve at work and look after a family.
And I think people are more open. I talk about my daughter's going to have a school concert, so I will be leaving at 5 or 4. But I think, 10 years ago, you would not say that.
Yeah.
You would try to very politely say, I really need to leave, or take a half day off. Or it was quite, it was not the conversation to be had. Whereas now I embrace, all my team members, not just female, obviously, but female and male. I make sure that they have the time to be able to do all of those family moments. And
But if I may, can we all just be very honest with ourselves? That's changed because there's more women around. It hasn't changed because men have changed.
Oh,
it.
absolutely.
So let's not fool ourselves. I often get asked the question, what has changed? Absolutely nothing has changed, except there are more women who are making it better. So men haven't changed their mindset. We do have male allies, and I don't want to upset the male allies. You know who you are, and we love you. Thank you. And they also help us, but the vast majority of men, honestly, haven't changed.
Yep.
And I think it's really crazy because if you look at a lot of women, the mental load that we carry, so, you know, you have to, if it's your partner's mother's birthday, you're the one that goes and gets the card and the present. You're the one that organises holidays. You know, you've got elderly parents, if you're looking, when you get to a certain age, you're the one that, as a woman, it's probably not your brother. So you have much more of a physical and mental load. You're still working, you're still getting the kids. It's World Book Day, which if you're a parent will fill you with absolute horror. If you know what I mean. And you're still trying to work and you're still trying to nurture everyone at work. So why wouldn't you give the job to somebody who can do all of that?
Yeah.
Instead of someone who just turns up, has got a wife at home, looking after the kids, hasn't got a clue when their mother's birthday is, isn't organising holidays. All they're doing is work. Why wouldn't you give it to that person?
Because they don't have
do it.
Yeah, but they don't have the skills and the creative thinking, and they're juggling 65 million balls that just come as standard. And I think it's really short-sighted if you don't think that all the stuff that is required, the mother-in-law's birthday and keeping all of those things together and happening, absolutely brings skills that you need in a business.
Our factory settings are amazing.
High alert.
High alerts. Forget even having children, right? Because another thing that bothers me is when people put, oh, it's because you have children. I know loads of women who get overlooked who don't have children. So it's not because they have children. It's because they're a woman.
Yeah.
And I don't want it ever to get confused. It's also, and I agree with everything that Sam said, it's also even more difficult if you do have children. But I've been somebody that didn't have children and then had children. And it didn't suddenly just get terribly worse. It became more complicated.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like everybody was throwing opportunities at me when I didn't have children.
Yeah.
So
No.
That's a good point. Yeah.
For
I mean, it's true, isn't it? You know.
It's funny now because I am the person that I am, and everyone in the industry sees me and they're like, she's just this person. Half of the industry thinks I've absolutely lost the plot, and the other half are like, yeah, shit, she's brilliant. But until I got to that, dear God, did I fight. And it was exhausting. And beyond the, let's be very, very honest, right? Beyond the not just having children and having families, there's different shapes and forms that families take. There's, now people will be like, yeah, she doesn't have kids. No one has any idea what my background is. No one has any idea what it took for me to get to right here. And then on top of that, we're completely not factoring, unless you're working with and are surrounded by women, things like that have become so prominent in the industry, in women in the world, endometriosis, adenomyosis, all of these struggles that members of our team are dealing with, that how do you even broach that conversation? We're afraid to have discourses about women being mothers. God forbid we talk about health conditions now.
Do you think more awareness needs to be built in the industry then about these particular topics that females
Of course. And this is the thing that I
with?
constantly say, and this is why I say half of the industry hates me, because it is mediocre white men. I won't stop talking about it.
Well,
These
it's a
topics
fact,
are only
though, isn't it?
taboo because we have allowed them to be for so long.
Yeah.
If we do not normalise the discourse, nothing is going to change. And the only people that can normalise and change that is us. Because they're not going to have the conversation.
Yeah.
They're so comfortable. Yeah. The more I shut up, the happier they're going to be.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it's not happening.
Yeah.
Like, I refuse to be quiet. I was quiet for so long coming up in the industry, doing my peers' jobs and my peers' jobs and my manager's jobs and every other man and his dog's job, just to hope to be seen. Absolutely not. I am exactly who I think I am.
Yeah.
And that's the only way we're going to keep driving
Yeah,
that
good.
change.
Love that. and just to your point, so there are so many vital conversations we need to have today. Take, in this country, one of the highest causes of death for young men is taking their own lives. That, sorry to take a serious turn, but we need to be checking in all the time with our young men, and we need to be able to nurture them. And, you know, I know that we do that, but we need to do more of it. We need to talk more about all of the things that affect women. But, you know, we do menopause training, we do all sorts of things like that. Let's do more of this because, you know what, it will help men as well.
Yeah,
it's not, this is not, I do think often when women get very brutally honest, men get a little bit uncomfortable, but it's not, we are not anti-men, absolutely not. All we want is to be equal. We just want to be equal, don't we?
It's anti-ignorance. It's not understanding situations.
Absolutely. That's why we keep mentioning all our male allies out there.
I mean,
we love very much.
Even myself, my wife's 31 weeks pregnant at the moment. Setting a good example there. But the level of understanding around pregnancy, like I myself, I'll hold my hands up and say I was naive to how difficult it is and what a woman goes through throughout pregnancy. So that even things that you take for granted
but you're so willing to be educated, and this is what I love about you and Tom and Lucas and your team. You guys are so willing to be educated. You're so willing to learn. And you know exactly what you said, Anne. I've got quite a lot of young men within my team, and actually I have these conversations with them because male mental health terrifies me, because the reason that these rates are so high for suicide men is because they have nowhere to turn. And I will sit there and I will hear, like, my team calls me mother, which I'm 141 kids is a bit much, but I have those conversations constantly. I'm checking in on the team, I'm checking in on the boys, I'm checking in on the girls and the theys and the thems and the he's and everybody, because I don't want the men or the boys in my team to also feel unheard. And the more we have these discourses, the more they unlearn those patterns that were normalized to them. And like,
it's not their fault. There is no that every baby boy that's born in this country is not born as a misogynist.
Yeah.
It's not not men's fault. It's society's fault. But until we get there, we have to do what we can do, and the little bits that we can do. And that's why I'm saying it's so healthy to have women in the workplace, because we will think about, let's check in. So-and-so in the loading bay doesn't look his normal chirpy self. I wonder if we should go and check in on him. That's something we just do because we're programmed to do it.
Because
so it's helping everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I find guys are generally happier to kind of have a soft moment or break down or cry or whatever with the woman than they are with another.
100%.
And so I think we need all types, because that helps everybody. And we've got to get to the point where we are accessible and thoughtful and trying to make an environment where everybody can shine. If you only have one style or one viewpoint, it's not going to do that. No. And so I think we have to have a broad church where everybody is allowed in.
Just to finish on this topic, so I'm a lot older than Sam. 28 years ago, when I came back from my 3 months of maternity leave, I was told, don't talk about the baby.
No way.
Oh my God. My director of HR, I asked him to bring in his baby last week. I was like, we need a bit of positivity in the building. Bring the baby, bring the baby.
And that just goes to show the difference then.
That's so sad, because it's such a huge part of your life. It's almost like your personal life isn't valued as part of what you do, which is something that hopefully...
that's a real shame. That's a real shame. And I think that for me it was more, do you talk about your baby? Not I wasn't allowed to, but I felt like I wasn't allowed to.
So that was like the next level along, wasn't it?
Exactly. And that was like, if you spoke about your child, maybe it gave the impression that you were missing your child. Of course you were. But then maybe it gave the impression that you weren't focused on your job. So you would avoid...
Because in general, men are not and I know there's going to be audible groans everywhere, and not as good as multitasking, but I'm sorry, I don't care. I'm not here to make you feel good. Because they're very, very good, and I admire, I'm always saying to the girls at work, men are the consummate networkers. Don't ask me how to network, follow a man, they're brilliant. Mm-hmm. So I will call out all the ways in which I think men are brilliant, and there are a myriad of these things.
Taking the garbage out.
I take my own garbage out. I take my own garbage out.
And I also think men are brilliant at focusing. They're very good at just being able to compartmentalise. But I think when it comes to multitasking, women are very good at that. So why worry about the fact that a woman's had a child? We were built for this. We were built
for being a general manager or being an MD.
To be able to do that, but also give 100% to work.
Yeah.
That's what we can do.
Yeah.
I say bring the babies to work.
Yeah, I love it.
That's a new campaign.
Bring the babies
Bring the babies to work. Yeah. That's a new campaign.
Yeah,
So now for a quick word from one of our partners. I'm joined by Rachel Parry, the UK Country Manager for La Bottega Collective. Rachel, thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you along. A quick question. So talk to us about La Bottega Collective and how you're redefining the guest experience and guest journey.
La Bottega Collective, we are a group of brands underneath us. So we have our La Bottega, Vanity Group, Beltrami, White Privé, Palatino. We can operate across all of the touch points of the guest experience. So we have our everyday essentials, our textiles, our OS&E goods as well. And we can kind of tailor those to the needs of the hotel.
So I know you've got some goodies, some of your kind of staples of the La Bottega Collective to give out to our wonderful guests. So how does being a female in leadership influence your role?
So leadership for me is anchored in the sensitivity to a nuance. So being a woman in this industry, it sharpens my awareness of how hospitality is experienced and how we can really tailor those partnerships to accommodate and to attract the purchasing power of females also. We are proud to present and work with many female-led brands, and we can champion them as well. So Declan knows one of my favourites is Ground Wellbeing with our Crowley. She's an incredible, powerful woman who created her own brand. We also work with Tajinder, who developed Urban Apothecary, and we have many, many other female-led brands, but to name a few. And we love to honour these founders and bring those into our partnerships.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Ironically, obviously, every International Women's Day, every year there's a different theme. And for 2026, this year's is Give to Gain, which is kind of perfect for hospitality. So talking about, obviously, your roles as female leaders in hospitality and paving the way for the next generation of future leaders and female leaders, what would you say resonates most with you when you hear the term Give to Gain?
I really think mediocre men need to give us a break.
Love it.
I'm exhausted.
Love it.
I think there's so much to give, but we give so much of ourselves. I'll be very honest with all of you. This year's Give to Gain maybe pressed me the wrong way a little bit because we give so much endlessly without ever expecting to gain anything anyway. Mm-hmm. What more do you want us to give?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, we give and we give day in and day out because we love what we do, because we are being part of this change, because we want to be at the forefront of this change, so that the next generation of female and male leaders don't experience the things that we did. How much more can we give?
The giving is not an issue.
Yeah.
It seems
Yeah.
all of you here
Shouldn't
work
have
so
to.
hard.
Yeah.
You're juggling multiple, things, both in personal and work life. The giving isn't the issue here, is it?
I'm going to be controversial and disagree slightly because I hear what you're saying. I do hear what you're saying, and I agree with a large proportion of it. But I also think there are still not enough women or male allies going out and giving and actively finding opportunities to help, to grow, to support, to pull in. And so I read it and I think, amazing, it's a two-way street. You give and you get. Yeah. But I also think it starts with us. And I think every single one of us has to use Sheryl Sandberg's lean in. We do need to lean in, and when we are leaning in, we need to grab somebody and pull them along with us.
Yeah.
And I think so. I agree with what you're saying, but I also think that there's an element where it begins with us.
It does, absolutely does.
And I think that's definitely from my perspective, giving more time to our young leaders, and especially our female leaders, just giving them the time and investing in them, gives them the opportunity to grow. And by giving them the opportunity to grow, hopefully we're growing the next generation of female leaders.
Yeah.
So definitely time we don't have the time always in the industry, but making the time to nurture them and mentor them and coach them definitely is something that I find important.
100%.
I think it's about also, and I think it's okay for it to mean personal things to us.
Yeah,
I think
but I think
that's really important.
So much of this. I do spend so much time with the universities and the next generation. I think I really like what you said, actually. There needs to be more of us doing it, because sometimes I do feel like I just see myself, and I'm kind of sick of seeing myself. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. So I do appreciate that, actually. That was beautifully put.
But they're both brilliant perspectives.
Yeah.
And I think it's about asking the right questions as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see, I've in my career, I've caught it a few times where you've got somebody who's promoting a man, and you're like, oh, why this person exactly? Oh, he's got so much potential. Oh, he's going to do a really, really great job. Why have you worked with this person before? No. Okay. Well, why? How do you know then? Oh, well, they're just going to be amazing. Well, what about this person here who's female? Yeah, well, and so you've got to ask questions as well. We've got to advocate. And actually, it might turn out that the original person is the right person, but at least we've
need to challenge and explore different.
I think we land up in that situation because as women we are absolutely rubbish at putting ourselves forward and shouting about what we do.
100%.
Yeah, I interviewed
agree.
for a role recently, and I'm not going to say which role because that might give the game away. But at a managerial level, and I interviewed guys, I interviewed girls, and the person who could have been the best person for the job interviewed appallingly. And interviewed appallingly because they were so busy saying, well, I could kind of maybe, and there was no, the exact opposite of you. But when you looked at what they had achieved and what they had and everything else, and I had a conversation with them, and actually it landed up that it wasn't the right role for them for both sides. So it worked out all right. But I made a point of going back and saying, and now I want to give you some feedback on interview. You're bloody so much better than you're telling everybody.
Belief,
you need to shout about what you believe. And I think quite often the reason that there is a glass ceiling is because we put it there.
Yeah. In that very moment, emulate who it is that you think you have the potential to be. Because only then will the person that you actually are come out. And I think it's easy for me to say because I've gotten to where I am and I am this confident in myself, but that's come from having nothing. And so when you have nothing, you can't afford to fear anything. So I'm like,
Nothing to lose.
Like, I'm going to go for this,
just go
and
for
whatever
it.
comes out of it, comes out of it. And it's instilling that belief in other women that you are that good. You are as good as you think you could potentially be. No, you're already there.
Yeah.
You just need to see it in yourself.
Yeah, just have that confidence. And I think it's not even about so much equality even. It's an absolute fact that it's estimated that if we achieved gender diversity in all roles across the planet, it would generate up to $28 trillion more in the world's GDP. Some countries would go up by 25%. And if you think that most countries at the moment are not even hitting single digits, and some people are going back. Emerging countries would probably improve by 35%. So it's an actual financial fact.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you an anecdote so I was at the Forbes conference last week in Monaco. There was the most incredible young 17-year-old driver, Alba Larson, shout out to you, Alba. She's joined Ferrari, and so she's in the same stable as Lewis Hamilton and Leclerc, but obviously not racing in F1 yet. She will, I promise you. She gave this example. So when you get into F1, you usually start at go-karting, so it might be your birthday party and all the boys go. And in this country, about 4,000 boys a year will be introduced to go-karting. About 250 girls will. So first of all, there's the problem. When they spoke to the people that own these go-karting places, they said, what happens? They said, can girls race as fast as boys? And they said, yes, but it's more complex than that. So when it's all boys, they set off. After a few laps, they all start crashing. They go really, really, really fast, and they all start crashing. Then it slows everyone down. A few of them get carted off to hospital, and I'm not exaggerating. And that's it. When it's a mixed group, the girls hang back because the boys are creating so much chaos. And they don't want to get into crash situations, so it's the boys that go fastest. When it's all female, the first few laps are a little bit slower, but they, at the end, achieve exactly the same speed as when it's all male. There are no crashes.
They all finish.
No one goes to hospital.
No one goes to hospital.
It sounds like us.
None of the carts are smashed.
Wow.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is hospitality.
I've been
That story. I love it.
I've been go-karting on stag do's, and I can first-hand vouch that is exactly how it goes.
I'm sending my daughter go-karting after
Yes.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Similar stats or similar outputs around education. That they say in an all-male school, the boys don't perform as well.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah, because they lose focus and they're not as focused on the academic side, shall we say. In a co-ed school, the boys perform better because they're generally trying to show off and show how bright they are, and the girls underperform because they hold back. In an all-female school, the girls achieve high marks.
Completely agree. It's a fact.
It is a fact. So
It's interesting.
very interesting.
I've got a lot of feelings towards the education system. The first one is I think it's failing the youth. But anyway, I think the education system, the curriculum is outdated massively. I think there needs to be huge upheaval for the youth. But I also, curiosity question. Are female-only, male-only schools outdated? Or is there a place for them?
My daughter goes to a all-girls school, but she has lots of boyfriends.
Yeah.
So I don't see an issue. I think it's up to the child. I mean, we gave her the choice, and she wanted to go to all-girls school, and so did her friends. So I think it's really a choice. I would never, as a parent, dictate which kind of school my child needs to go to. I don't know about outdated. It depends really on the child, I guess, and their upbringing and their social skills.
Yeah, fair. Just a curiosity question.
I think it's a great question, and I think you gave a great answer. It's because it's quite complex and different. But I think it does start. I think to your point, Ellie, it does start as young as at school. I read the other day that the government are bringing in lessons for young boys to start respecting young girls, with the rise of the Andrew Tates and the likes of that. Respect for girls is at an all-time low. So it always really amuses me when people say things are getting so much better. I'm like, well, on what planet would that be then? Because it's not getting better on Earth.
It's getting worse for boys as well.
Yeah.
Like it's not just one side. Those young boys from those very delicate
being
ages are
indoctrinated, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's, I think, with social media, like you said, it is so easy to alienate a certain demographic nowadays. There's some really good positive role models out there, but there's also, on the flip side, some people setting terrible examples. You mentioned the education system and how it's failing our youth.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see what each of you think about kind of hospitality being pushed as a vacation. Me personally, I never, in my whole education, was hospitality was never mentioned as you can go and do this, and it was always doctors, lawyers. For some reason, hospitality is not looked at as like a
In this country.
yeah.
I was just gonna say.
Why do we like? I'd be interested to see what each of you think about
I would
that.
say it's in this country. When you look at the Netherlands, lots of kids go to hotel school. I mean, my daughter's thinking about it because you don't have to. I mean, you don't have to work in hotels. You go to hotel school and you can work in many industries, which are people industries. But I think it's definitely in this country, and it's got to do with pay grades as well, and the growth, the possibility of growing in the industry. So we have to make a change. I definitely think, we as hoteliers need to do something. But in Germany, it's also a vocation. So there are countries where, Spain, it's also a vocation. But
I think the whole of Europe is
Yeah.
seen as a fantastic
The EM Cup is a
career.
beautiful example of that, held in the Netherlands. Best hotel schools in the world.
Yeah.
But, we say as hoteliers, we need to push that. What are we doing? Like, I work with schools. A lot of the schools that I work with won't have access to the hotel schools because they are in disadvantaged, in poverty-stricken areas of London and the UK. A lot of the schools that I work with, most of those students don't have access to a parent or a carer that has any level of education. So I think it's critical that we continue to push that envelope. But it's not enough to just speak about it.
Yeah.
I've been to the EM Cup in the Netherlands. I've experienced that. It's invigorating. Even for me, that's already a hotelier. I learned so much from those young people. I came back and I said to my boss at the time, that's just reinstilled that we're not screwed. Like, that's just reinforced in me that we're not screwed. But in the UK, we're not doing that enough at all. There's only so much time we have, but if we do it collectively, we could be making a bigger change. And I also think the students at the school are really sick of seeing me.
Because obviously
she's back.
you say about, the female skill set is, you are factually, and I'll hold my hands up as well, you're better at multitasking for us. So your skill set is absolutely perfect for leadership, general manager. I mean, you must have to deal with so many different things in your day-to-day lives, at work, at home. So the skill set's perfect, and I don't think young females are seeing it in school at all to make that switch of, I could be a general manager of a hotel. I could lead a team. How do we?
The fact is, it's not just in schools. I mean, there's a lot of hotels where you might even be in a fairly high position and they don't even think they can be GMs. Never mind the school children. Again, it's down to representation. Representation matters. We see more female general managers now. So that's great. But I mean, when I started out, same as what Joe was saying, I think there was one or two. And you were just like in awe of them because you think, wow, how on earth did they manage to get into that level? But I think that what we can do practically, so there's a thing that I'm just about to do in partnership with Emily at Hotelier. We're getting some female GMs together. It'd be great if it was us, maybe, for the first time. And I'm asking the GMs to bring 3 or 4 of their team who want to be GMs, female, who want to be GMs.
Oh, that's great.
And then we're all going to get into a room and they can just ask us questions about how, for their specific situations. And one of the reasons I've been wanting to do this for a while is that I think that I hear a lot from people who I've worked with in the past or present who'll say, I was in hotel school, or I was in a hotel and they told me, if you want to be a mother, forget being a general manager.
I got asked that in an interview after I left Zeta. Before I joined the Mandrake, I was speaking to a few different people, and they said, you know, do you have any plans on becoming a mother? The guy specifically said to me, I don't know your age, but I can guess your age range. Do you plan on becoming a mother?
Or it's the questions where they don't ask you directly, but so what are your hobbies? Where do you live? And what does your partner do? How do you balance your work with your personal life?
You're being profiled. There's a profile being built.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then you have to, you know, try not to. I don't do that anymore, obviously. But then you try not to focus on the personal life, and you try to make sure that you are as strong as any male can be.
Yeah.
But definitely.
I remember there was a situation, and this is relevant, this is not us all just sat having a rant, where I was promoted and I was so proud and so happy about it. And my male director of HR said, wow, you know, congratulations, you've done so well, and a nice salary increase as well. That's a great salary for a second salary going in.
Oh.
I'm like, I actually earn more than my other half.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you not assume that I would be the breadwinner?
What?
Oh, he said, oh, no, I didn't mean any offence. I said, well, then maybe you need to
think about what you're saying, yeah.
I don't believe he did mean any offence.
Yeah.
I think
But
he
it
just
shouldn't
wanted...
be normal for
but
that
but
to want to come out.
Yeah, so I don't even think it's about men deliberately trying to offend. But I think it's not good enough just to say, well, I wasn't deliberately trying to offend you.
If you were a man, you never would have said that.
You know, yeah, just...
Never would have said that to you.
That never would have...
Yeah.
It's just all of these little things that just weigh
Microaggressions.
down, I guess.
How do you think we build, obviously we've mentioned allies throughout this, how do we build more male allies that understand and, you know, can help women in hospitality reach these positions they deserve to? How do we help? How can we?
I would say I would not have achieved my position without being helped by men.
Absolutely.
Same.
And I think that I've had a couple of incredible female bosses as well, but because of the law of averages, because there are more men in top positions, we've all been helped by men, otherwise we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
In a couple of years' time, maybe women will be able to sit here and say, well, it was purely women that got me where, but you couldn't at the moment because there aren't enough of us, right? Men already help women. And there are a lot of male allies. How do we create more of them? By modelling great behaviour.
I agree with that then.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spoke to one of my bosses from many years ago this morning, and I said to him, I'm going on this panel, and I said, well, you know, I was thinking of the females that have helped me, but really it's been mostly males because of this reason. And he said, well, don't mention my name, come up with a female.
No, say the name.
we need both.
Absolutely say the name.
We need both.
You know,
we need both.
But it was
100%,
very interesting to hear that. But I also think that they helped us because we helped them. Because, you know, you think about it, and we did a lot for them because we supported them in their roles when they were seniors, and the amount of help that we gave them, because we would be their PA plus their front office manager or plus their rooms division manager. We would do everything. I mean, I would buy presents for my boss's wife.
I've never done that.
But only because
I would never do
he would say to me, I need to go to the shop. And I'd say, because I knew her, I'd say, I know she likes this. And he would do the same for me. So, you know, we'd work very closely. And I think all three of my mentors were males. And they were very, very supportive. And their children have gone into the industry, daughters as well. So but I think now we do need to make that change. And as females, we need to help the males in our industry and in our hotels have that same kind of nurturing
that mentality.
Absolutely. I think that
to ensure that they're helping
yes,
more people, more women, and
and being showing more emotion towards their team, because I think that's also very important. And males have been taught not to show emotion.
Exactly.
So they don't build that relationship.
Because I know, Elle, you would probably like to shout out to Latourus. I know the Zeta, he went out on a limb
LV has
to push your.
Dear God, honestly, do you know why I say it as well though? Because I am so me. And I mean it, and I can sit here and we can have this discourse. But let's be honest, right? Let's be very, very frank. In the industry, I am an outcast, and I'm conscious of that, and I'm okay with that. The way he pivoted my career, that whole, you be your most you. Stop trying to understate who you are. Stop trying to, even from the way I dressed, like, he was like, just be you. Like, you are outstanding. So I think for me, LV and Jeremy, who's now my director of sales, Jeremy is phenomenal. I say Jeremy is my partner in crime, just more demure and mindful. He's a lot more demure and mindful than I am. Those two men have been pivotal in my career. But I think on the topic of building more male allies, it's just by having conversation. Yeah. It's just by being very frank. Like, we don't hate you guys. We think you're outstanding. We think you're brilliant. But we need you to help us and have our voices heard. You know, it's through, again, conversation, networking, being out there. And I think, and look, I'm going to be very honest, and it might not sit right with a lot of people. We also need to have these uncomfortable conversations with women because we continue to see each other as competition, and that's just not bloody good enough. I have reached out to so many women for support. Not, you know, I don't need you to change my life. I've got a question and it's in my head right now and I just need to unpack it with someone. And I've been ignored time and time again. And I don't know if that's just because it is me and I am this person. Like you, I talk about you all the time because every time I've reached out to you, you've just been like...
But that's because I've had the opposite experience. I every time I've reached out, women have been there.
Absolutely.
And I wouldn't be here equally without the women that have put their hand out. And we have a group of girls who get together and we have dinner and a chat and it's like group therapy. But it is absolutely critical. I look forward to those dinners every so often. And I also know if I'm in I need to bounce an idea or I'm in the mire, I emailed Anne on Saturday to say, please can you help me with something? Straight back.
So we have a lot of support from females, but there is also the queen bee syndrome. There's also the, getting political now, but I'm from the northeast. Margaret Thatcher, where do we start with her? She could have done so much for women. Instead, she just pulled the ladder up and did the opposite. So, and there are still women out there that do that. Let's be honest, right? So for the women that don't, we keep doing what we do. Yeah. But I agree with you. Let's not throw that under the carpet because that exists and for the women that do that, who hurt you? Who hurt you? Why you? Yeah. Can we heal you? Can we heal you? Can we bring you into the fold? I think for the most part, though, I'm going to agree. I've seen both of that, but I've seen more of what Joe's on about. And we've had therapy sessions.
Oh, absolutely. I'm very fortunate to have Anne.
I'm fortunate to have you. Oh my God! So we've had. Slightly tipsy, drunk. I was going to say drunken but tipsy therapy sessions. I just think that one thing really resonated that Joe did a few years ago, and I think that if you think about what do women do for women, so I was thinking about whether or not to apply for master in holders, and I just was so conflicted because I just saw it as such an old boys network. And I just thought, well, why? And Joe sort of said, no, come on. And we were at this International Women's Day event at the hotel. And I had taken Marina with me, who's just absolutely incredible in food and beverage. She's our restaurants and bars manager. And she was number 2 in the restaurant at the time. And Nicole, who now works at Rosewood Chancery, which is our front of house manager, incredible. And I'd taken them along and we'd watched all the sessions. And at the end of it, Joanne was leaving and she said, okay, well, before I leave, have you made your mind up? Are you going to join Mastering Holders? And I said, I haven't made my mind up, I'm not going to. And she was like, what? She said, well, I've written all of your reference out and everything. And she said, why? And I said, because I don't, it's not for me. And she said, what was it you said? You said, you have to be in it
To change it.
Mm. You have to be in it to change it. And I'm like, oh, I know, but you know. Anyway, we said our goodbyes, off she went. And I was not going to think any more of it. And I turned around and the 2 girls, Marina and Nicole, are just staring at me. And I was like, what? And they were like, well, what about us?
Oh, yeah. Great
So,
advice, Jo.
Well, what about you? And they were like, well, how's it ever going to change for us? I was like, okay.
Peer
I'll do
pressure
it.
into it.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Well, on that note, actually, that's clearly some amazing advice. And I'd be keen to find out if there's been any standout advice that you've had from another female in hospitality that's really kind of stuck with you.
It doesn't matter how much you think you're going into something that doesn't look like you or feel like you. You've got to be in it to change it. You've got to, you've got to be able to say, have a seat at the table. Otherwise, it's never going to change. So that was fantastic advice. The other one was my friend Linda, who's from Dublin, love her dearly. And I was having such a hard time. And she just said, and don't let the bastards grind you down. Just be you. The same advice as you, Gael. Be you. You know what? You're not all bad. I was hoping for a little bit more than that.
You could be worse.
I'll be honest.
You could be worse.
You're not all bad, what everyone wants to hear, yeah.
But coming from Linda, that's huge, right? So, and she said, just keep going. So I was like,
I think it was about being more open about my personal life, because I always kind of had that barrier, because I felt that was the way it needed to be. So being more open and talking about, I don't know, my dog, my child, about what I do outside of work. Not going into too much detail, but showing the team that I am human. And sometimes you kind of stop doing that because you're supposed to portray this role model, perhaps, that you've always been exposed to. And I think that we're showing your softer side, which I absolutely have, changed a lot for me.
I think it helps with guests as well, because guests want to know the people behind, these amazing properties that they visit. It builds a bit of a relationship there as well, and we're all people at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
We have stuff that we like, we don't like, that we.
And I guess when your team knows that you are having the same struggles that they are having, it's so much easier to connect.
Sure. Empathy.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. We've mentioned Hertelia, who obviously do amazing work. Are there any other kind of support networks or bodies or, groups that you're a part of that are making big changes in hospitality and helping this? Yeah.
I don't think there's enough.
apart from our boozy support group.
That's a great. And actually,
I want a ticket to that.
and actually, that was going to be my point. Just because there isn't doesn't mean you shouldn't create one.
Yes.
And so we have created our own support network that does come with wine. But I think you just find your tribe and then just hang on to them because that tribe will grow. And don't get me wrong, there's some amazing networking, and I think Act Clean deserves a shout out because
100%.
because Gillian and Bronwyn are amazing at doing this and bringing people together, and also to the point about bring somebody with you so that we're all supporting one another. So I think they definitely deserve a shout out. And
Bronwyn will be thrilled to have a shout out. She's lovely.
They deserve one.
Yeah.
And Hertelia, but they aren't enough, and so just make your own.
Yeah.
Because actually, sometimes it's not always just about being women or just about being something. Don't put yourself in a box. Just find your tribe and bring them together. Because in our girly support network, we have some honorary girls that are actually sometimes, well, probably most of the time guys, but they are such good guys that we allow them to be honorary girls.
Yeah, and have those important conversations.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'd be intrigued to know a bit of a kind of more fun, light-hearted question for all of you. If there was a particular female, past or present, and they don't have to be in hospitality, who you would love to sit down, have dinner and some meaningful conversations with.
Michelle Obama.
Yeah. Why her?
Well, I think she's just such a great role model for girls, but also females in the world, and her strength in everything that she's been doing. I mean, it's just been absolutely amazing. And whether it's education or being a powerful first lady, I just find her absolutely fascinating. And her book was just amazing. And so I definitely feel that she's definitely my hero right now.
Yeah.
For me, it would be my grandmother.
Okay.
I don't think I valued enough at the time because you're young and you don't ask enough questions. And I look back now and think, oh, I really should have asked more questions. She was a single woman in the 1950s, raising 2 girls. And I look back and think, she was phenomenal. She traveled internationally, and in South Africa you just didn't really travel internationally for business and at that time. And she was such a trailblazer, but I just took that for granted because she was my gran. And I wish I could go back with it.
And now you've realised everybody's not like her.
And gone, how did you do that? I'd love to be able to do that.
Mine's very similar. It would be my great-grandmother because she was born in a little village in Kilfean in County Mayo, and during lockdown we did a lot of tracing, like everybody was doing
the ancestry,
the banana bread. Novelty had worn out and we'd done all the jigsaws. We started we started on our background, which is Irish, and I would love, so Bridget Doyle, I would love to sit down with her and just say, why did you come to England? I mean, I guess it was economic necessity, but they came to such a poor part of England, like where I was brought up. It's very deprived. Like, why there? Maybe, maybe they knew somebody there.
Yeah.
There's like lots of questions I'd love to find out why they did that. And big shout out to John, who I work with, John Kelly, and his friend who's in Ireland in Mayo, and they've been trying to find out things for me and sending information, which has been really, really great. But I'd love to sit her down and say, what were you thinking? and what did you arrive to? And was there like loads of prejudice against you? Like the Irish in England back then, maybe.
It's amazing how that decision just shapes your, generations' time, your, where you are now. And you don't know what that decision was either. What's one thing you would want to give more of in the future that you feel like can bring more female leaders into hospitality, or even females into hospitality? It doesn't necessarily have to be leaders.
Bring more people into those conversations. Well, Sam, I might reach out to you at some point next week and be like, I'm going to do a layers check, can you come with me?
I love that.
Bring more people into the conversation. And also, I guess, do you know what this conversation today has brought to the forefront of my mind? Because I do all of this with the schools, it doesn't mean that the rest of my peers and my colleagues are able to see or access those discourses. I get to, very fortunate, I've got quite a few teachers that are in the education system and friends. Why am I not exposing more of my colleagues in the industry to it? So I think that bringing more people into those conversations with that next generation that I am so passionate about.
What do you think about having more difficult conversations, like maybe asking...
Oh, I love a difficult conversation, but you guys know this.
Yeah.
It's like, tattoo that on my forehead. Uncomfortable discourses are the only narrative to change, and they're only uncomfortable because we have allowed them to be so. I will discuss every topic. there is nothing off bounds with me in terms of discourse for change, in terms of what that trajectory for change needs to be. And also, I'm very happy for people to not agree with me. The more discourse we have, the more educated we become. So I think for me, it's critical. And I think Dec knows this better than anyone, because sometimes he's just, oh God.
She's off.
But I'm...
No, good for you.
There is no uncomfortable...
I think there is an uncomfortable topic that we should talk about more. And I think it would bring not only more girls into the industry, but more guys into the industry, because hospitality still has a stigma that we need to overcome. And it's talking about money.
Yeah.
Because everybody thinks that we pay appallingly and that we earn appallingly. And I don't think that that is true. I think when you start, at the beginning, yes, it probably is minimum wage. But oh my goodness, do you climb that ladder fast if you apply yourself? And then we start to pay well. And we all earn, I am certain, without ever having asked any of you what you earn, we all earn similar to those jobs that everybody else starts out saying, oh, you need to be a doctor or a lawyer or what have you.
I'm probably making more than I would if I were a lawyer.
Oh,
yes.
100%.
And
because they would have just cut me and been like, this one, she can't. Get rid of her.
Get her out of my court now.
And I think we need to talk about that, because I think we do our industry a disservice by allowing other people to own that narrative, and we should change it, because then I think people would look at it and go, okay, that whole what you put in is what you get out. And I think and we have fun. When I get together with my mates that are doctors and lawyers, nobody wants to know what law case they're doing.
Cut today.
Which celebrities have been in the hotel? What happened?
So
Everybody wants to know about my job. And so you get all of the fun and the challenge. There are challenges, but we also get paid handsomely for doing it.
Yeah. And we get to travel the world.
yeah,
Exactly. And we always have a great bed.
We do.
Great meal, good bottle of wine.
it is a luxury for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
I think, and the one thing that really upsets me is when other women pretend that there isn't equality because maybe they haven't experienced it. Mm-hmm. Because I think that just shows that you're not really educating yourself enough about what happens. I think I am so happy for any woman that has not experienced excessive misogyny or felt that they've been held back. But I don't think that's okay for them then to sit there and say, well, things have got so much better and look at me, it didn't happen to me. Because I promise you are in a very small minority of women who think that they've had the same opportunities as men. Mm. So I just think we should have that conversation as well. That I'm not saying there isn't, that those women don't exist, but they are the minority. Yeah. So therefore they shouldn't necessarily push that narrative, because I think it's regressive. Mm-hmm. And I think until we have anywhere near balanced teams across leadership, at C-suite, until that happens, I don't want to hear about you having a lovely smooth sailing right to the top, because it's not helpful, it's regressive, it's a little self-centered, and like, oh, I'm all right. Look around you, there are plenty of people who are not all right. So I just think that is something that I think that we need to put on the table. Yeah. Let's not go around saying these things when we know there are many of our fellow women out there who are really struggling to get a break. Yeah. Until and it just, people go, yes, but in my hotel, I've heard some of this, in my hotel, there's more women than men. Yes, but look at what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not sat around the boardroom table, are they? So
we make up 48% of the industry, and only 13% of women, this is 2025 stats, are in C-suite positions. Yeah. Just that simple. Just literally what you've just said.
So it's looking beyond our hotels and looking at the industry as a whole and how we can support them. But I think also for me, it starts with high schools and the career talks. I love doing those, and I think it's so important because it encourages the young ladies, because once they're 14, 15, they kind of know what they want to possibly do, and to excite them about hospitality. I think that's so important.
Whilst hearing it from the horse's mouth as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, because I myself, what I do, I'm accidentally in this industry. I was never taught, how amazing a vacation hospitality is, and I feel like there's a lot of people that are accidentally in the industry. It needs to be like on purpose.
We love
that's what
you. It's okay, you can stay.
I'm accidentally here and I'm not going anywhere, because it's amazing. Right. It is amazing, and like you said, it's about these talks that you go and do, even if you inspire one person to go, you know what, I might do that.
If you think about it, how many industries are there that are so kind? Not completely across the board. We've got a lot of work to do, but you find so much kindness in our industry, so much nurturing. I look at the efforts that we go to protect people's mental health. I look at some of the other careers that people can go into that actively destroys people's mental health. We are out there every day trying to improve the mental health of the boys and girls we've got working with us. And if I was a young parent now with sort of teenagers, I'd be saying, go and work in hotels.
Yeah.
Look at how actively people are trying to protect you. Yeah. And it's great money and a lot of fun.
It's such a
travel the world.
It is such a positive industry, because you think of all, there's terrible stuff going on in the world. There's conflicts, there's all sorts happening at this moment in time. And this industry is the one industry where it shows like the very best of humanity. It's a caring and nurturing industry, so it's such a positive place to go to work.
Yeah, there are a few places else that you.
There's so many disciplines you can grow, and you don't have to. You could grow into different areas.
Yeah.
So there's so much opportunity.
Yeah, so many transferable skills. Whether you stay in hospitality or whether you go out and do something else after, that's also okay. Yeah,
absolutely.
We just provide such a grounding.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Well said.
I'm interested to see your answers for this one. So I'm having a little girl in 2 months' time. So how do you want to see the next, and what do you hope for the next generation of women in hospitality? What do you hope for, these future young female, people working within the hotel space or the hospitality space in general?
Parity. What we crave is what I hope they achieve. Simple.
Well said.
Being their authentic self at all times.
And not being scared of,
Exactly.
Not having to hide their personal life, their family. Yeah, no, I think that's perfectly put.
I'd like to see a few more laws baked in that ensure that they do get parity and that they can be their authentic self. Unfortunately, I don't trust that will happen, because I've seen, I thought, by the time, my daughter and my stepdaughter grow up, it'll be such a much better world. And unfortunately it isn't. So we may not, I may not see that, but it would be, so I do believe
legislation.
Legislation and laws are going to have to come into, we've got people in this country now actively talking about repealing the Equality Act.
Yeah.
So again, I'd say to everyone, go out and vote.
It's like,
sure that doesn't happen.
It's like what Elle said about, being asked the question, do you plan on having children? Like, that needs legislating against. So you can't ask
But I thought we
these
had.
questions? Yeah.
We have.
That's the whole. You know what?
Yeah.
I love when it's me that gets asked though, because I just make the most terrifying. I was like, "Are you planning to be the father?" And he was just, "Well, darling, you've really asked the wrong person."
It's a big no on that.
I've said this a million times. There's probably a bunch of hotels with a picture of my face and just like a cross. And do you know what? That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I think
You want to be.
But then you've got a picture of those hotels with a big cross through the
Exactly. Yeah.
their names.
Exactly that. Well, as soon as you get asked that question, do you immediately go, "This isn't for me"?
Yeah, of course.
Do you-
I mean, I have not been asked that question for a long time, but I think that people do ask strange questions which are not appropriate any longer. If it's a one-to-one interview, I think they try or they find a way to figure out who you are.
Of course.
And that's still, I'm sure that's still ongoing. You know, we certainly as a company have done lots of work around interview skills and questions to ask, and that certainly has changed. But it does happen every now and then that somebody asks a very random question, which is not appropriate.
I think the next generation of girls coming into women are much more unapologetic than we ever were. I am now very unapologetic.
I
am
completely agree.
my most authentic self. But I have conversations with Naz, who's 10 years younger than me, and she's like, "Sorry, that doesn't serve me." I'm like, "Oh, okay. I apologise for breathing in your vicinity." And it's such a beautiful thing because they will be the change that we have been fighting so much for, because they will not accept less than.
Yeah.
I also think what we will see, and I hope, you know, maybe I'm being unrealistic, but I believe in it so deeply, is they are going to create these groups that we're trying so hard to create, but we're trying so hard to balance everything. I think they will so naturally do it because they are so much better with boundaries, because they are so much more unapologetic. They're going to be like, "Do you know what? I'm going to see Joanne, Sam and Anne at 5 p.m. for 3 bottles of wine. We shall see you tomorrow." Yeah. Like, whereas now...
Absolutely, you're right. I hesitate because I feel guilty.
You see?
I have that guilt that I need to, if I have a choice and I could, you know, get something done, I'm going to a network event, I need to change. I am changing that mindset, but it's always like, "Oh, but I should really be doing this."
Yeah.
For who?
But exactly. And I think that next generation doesn't have that.
No, because that
Doesn't
that
have
whole
that at all.
balance of everything
I
is so
come
important
first.
for them.
And I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, my daughter's showing signs of that already.
I'll give you some tips after this.
Okay.
It's really eye-opening because I'm like, "Oh, sorry." Okay, sure. But it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't forget my invite when you go for that bottle of wine. I'm coming with you.
I'm definitely in.
Absolutely.
Can I be an honorary attendee as well, please?
No, you've got a baby to take care of.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I'm not good at multitasking, so
Send your wife.
Yeah.
she'll be right up for that. Oh God.
I think just a parting question for all of you. If you could describe women in hospitality in one word, what would it be?
Incomparable.
Ooh, that's a lovely one.
Mic drop.
That was a mic drop.
Mine is inspiring, because those that went before, those 2 GMs who paved the way,
They did.
allowed us
To be where we are.
And I would like to think that we're hoping to pave the way for the next lot. But when you speak to those young ladies out there and you go, "Oh," yeah, I interviewed 2 young ladies this week for graduate roles with Exclusive. They came out of there, I have to say, just a tad jealous. I was like, "I'm so jealous of you. You've got it all ahead of you." And I would, and so I think it doesn't matter whether it's our forebears or those to come after. I think every single one has a story that is inspiring.
I can't think of one single word.
Use a sentence. Go on.
Yeah,
Don't stick to the rules.
They're just so awe-inspiring. Like, they just give me so much hope. I think I'd use probably the word hope when I see females in hospitality, because I think we're just incredible.
Yeah.
I've got 2 words. I'm not sure which one. Trailblazers and transformative. I definitely feel like we're transforming the way the industry was perceived. We are changing it slowly, one day, one female at a time, but we definitely are doing it.
Yeah,
I think we're agreed. All four of you should be really proud of what you're doing and the changes you're making. I
feel like I could burst after this conversation. I feel so proud. I feel so proud that we've had this. Very lucky that it's been on Sweet Talk.
Yes. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so
much. Hopefully we can do this every year.
Thank you for having us.
And even more than that, hopefully we never ever need a Women's Day.
Exactly.
That would be pretty awesome.
That's the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
No more. We don't need more International Women's
I think this
Day.
should be your last podcast. I was your first guest and I'll be your last.
I think we all deserve a glass of champagne.
There's a theme running through here.
We should change the name to Champagne Talk. There we go. No, honestly, thank you all so much. Really thoroughly enjoyed that.
And thank you for giving us the opportunity to be able to talk.
You're the best host.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Thank you.